back changed. You all came back changed. Those that didn't go, have also been changed. You got changed right here in this church. Without you all embracing this, when you all heard our testimonies, we wouldn't have had yesterday. Yes, a number of other churches participated. Yes, there was 400 and some other people than us. But population of our coordinators are sitting here in this church. The greatest percentage, and I'll give you all the numbers, the greatest percentage of people attending, volunteering at the clinic yesterday are sitting right here in this church. The numbers are not done. I cannot tell you if we had the most numbers, but besides First Baptist or some of the huge churches that participated, we had the biggest number right here. And I applaud you all for that. Without you all, this could not have happened. Without God touching us, this would not have happened. Again, we're still tallying numbers. We'll get to that. Final numbers. The numbers that I have to share with you today. Yesterday at site, we had 57 from Salem Baptist Church there. We had 10 grandparents keeping kids, so those 57 people could be there. So we had a total of 67 people from Salem serving yesterday at the Touched Twice Clinic. We had 72 in Sunday school. Next time those 5, I want on board with us. Our global numbers are, we had 25 cities that participated, we had 76 churches, 15 denominations, and 510 volunteers. We served 474 guests yesterday, which is down from last year, believably. We had 482 last year. However, people came in, there was a little confusion with the rain. People came in and were not registered. I believe our number was higher than last year. That includes 217 families. Again, without you all your donations and your physically bodies coming in and participating, this is a core group of the clinic, and I thank you. Now, if everybody that participated would come down, I want everybody to give their little snapshot of their area, because things that I saw, no one else saw. Things that you all saw, you were the only one in that area. We were, as I'm talking, the areas that we included, and if I miss one, tell me. We included transportation. We included evangelism. We included kitchen. We included guest shepherd. We included coordinators, spa, prayer, medical, dental, Kay was in dental, computer technology, vision, Linda was in vision, kids area, because we ended up switching over some work in the kids area. Did I include everybody? All the areas? Tara, are you going to, everybody needs to group together so we can have a picture. Yeah, but we all are working to spread.
take a couple more. One, two, three. Let me take one more. One, two, three. Okay, there you go.
Everybody's not the way. Peggy, you're right next to Mike. Sorry.
I was in registration where everybody came through. Two said we had 474 families. I'm sorry, 474 individual people, and then we had 217 families. It was raining, so we had to let them in a little earlier, and but it was such a wonderful experience. You just to meet everybody as they come in, because I guess I was the only person of everybody that got to see everybody that came through the clinic, because some of the services, didn't get through as fast. But it was such a blessing. One story I have is that I remember a gentleman from last year. He came in. He was there at 7 o'clock, standing in line last year. And to make a story short, he asked me, he said, do you know I need some help with my insulin? And I said, I don't know. When you get up to medical, you'll just have to ask, because I didn't know. So at the end of the day, last year I saw him, and he said, no ma'am. I asked him, I said, did they get to help you? And they said, no, because they didn't have anything for the insulin, but they helped my family, and that's all I cared about. So this year he came back, and I was, he went through, and I was trying to find all through the day where he was, and trying to, see if he actually got help. I thought, well, because he was one of the first ones there, he was at the door early yesterday morning also, and we got in, and I went down to talk to Judy, and I turned around, and there he was, just appeared. And I looked at him, and I said, oh, I'm so glad that I got to find you. I said, I just wanted to know, could they help you this year? And he said, well, they couldn't give me the liquid insulin, but they changed me to the pills, so they gave me cards to go get my insulin for free. And his wife was standing there, and she had just had 14 teeth pulled. So, he said, my family has been blessed tremendously. But it was just, knowing that you did that.
I'm talking out of order. Our first guest, when I pulled in at 5:30 yesterday morning, as we were unloading, Stephanie was there, and Tammy was there, and I was there. And a car pulled in beside me, and I thought, well, it's just another volunteer coming early to help. But I believe it was our first guest at 5:45, and we did not open the doors until 10.
I kind of headed up all the registration for the volunteers and everything like that, getting them in the computer so we can actually have some numbers to see. And I think that's the biggest thing that hits me every year that we do this. Like last year, just seeing the numbers that came together to do all this, that's what opened my eyes. Just seeing 74 different churches, I think, and from 15 different denominations just coming together all to do the same thing. So that's my biggest eye-opening experience, I think.
I worked in the kitchen, serving the food and drinks, and it's always so amazing when you start seeing the flood of people coming through, and it just doesn't stop. It started about 10:30, 10:45, and we still had stragglers coming in when we were starting to close down. And it's just amazing to see the families and the little ones and the parents just there, and being able to be there to hear about the Lord, and to also get whatever needs to be taken care of, if they need taken care of.
I got to work the vision clinic with the Lions I was appalled or amazed at how many people came through that didn't really even recognize the foods that we had, and that they had never had those kinds of foods. And I guess I was really surprised at how many people and children didn't recognize applesauce. And that just let you know that, you know, a lot of these people don't have access to foods that we just take for granted. But I enjoyed working with many of the same ladies that I worked with last year, and I really enjoyed that. But my greatest joy, I guess, was acknowledging Stephanie and the work that she had done for this. And none of you could appreciate how many hours and things that she put into it, that every little minute detail was taken care of. And I heard someone say, well, I would not have even thought of having the wipes, or I would not have even thought of having the salt shakers and having things. She is a true gem, and I know she added some stars in her crown over this weekend because it was planned just down to the minute detail.
I was the coordinator for the gatekeepers. I had the best job there. I got to see every single section of the clinic, and I had the best group of workers working under me you could ever have. Some of them didn't really want to do it, but once they got involved, I don't think you could have drug them away because they were seeing how well things operated. I was the one that was in charge of closing down sections to let people get caught up. Our biggest group that we had of need seemed to be dental. At 11:15 yesterday morning, that's an hour and 15 minutes after we officially started, I had to shut the dental clinic down to let them get caught up. We had 108 people in line to see dentists at 11:15. We had a total of 151 people go through the clinic. And of the 151 people that went through, 108 people actually went to a dentist office for a procedure. They either had teeth cleaned, teeth pulled. And we had several teeth pulled. I'd say honestly, if they could have put all the teeth together and put them in a bucket, they would have filled it up because these people were definitely glad to have access to a dentist because dental care seems to be an expense that everybody puts off to the last. And these people don't have the access to be able to do dental work. So they were definitely blessed with that. I had a very good group of people that worked with me. I was very tired when I got home last night because I found out real quick that this new knee doesn't do well with steps.
Well, my job was very opposite of Peggy's. Peggy got to see everybody that came in. Well, I didn't get to see anybody that came in because I was in the kitchen. I did tea and lemonade, and that's literally what I did from about 7:30 in the morning till I made my last pot of coffee at about 5. Even though the clinic stopped at 4, we had transportation back from the dental office, and there were people who were waiting, and it was cold and rainy. And so we were making coffee even as late as 5 for people while they waited. But for me, that's the biggest blessing because while I don't get to see a lot of people, I do get to see a lot go through, which tells me a lot's being served. We served over 20 gallons of tea, over 26 gallons of lemonade, numerous pots of coffee, and 3 gallons of unsweet tea, and it just was a great blessing, and I enjoyed that job. And Bob Walters, I don't know that man, has in my nose, he goes to First Baptist, I believe, but that man, I just want to hug him and take him home because he washed all the dishes. He started at about 11, and that man never came out from behind that dishwasher. And so there are blessings all over the place in the clinic.
Well, I started out of my comfort zone to start out with. As you all know, I love working with the kids. They didn't want it. They don't want it. They made it. It was 3 teenagers, and we just did the best we could. But we had to big it. We had the lady in the wheelchair. We had really small kids, and then they were just. I remember this one girl wanted me to do polka dots, and I bet I spent 20 minutes in this girl's nails because she kept changing her colors. Okay, we can do polka dots with this one. But it was good. It's the things that you don't think about. Like, they came to get the medical, the dental, and all this, but the spa kind of put a smile on their face because it made them feel good about themselves. They could be someone else for just a little bit. So.
In my role, I don't see a whole lot of testimonies or stories to tell. One thing that I was exposed to, Linda Otterback has a friend, his name's Bruce. That's for you. They fixed it. His name's Bruce, and I've known him from a few mission trips we've gone together on, and he grabbed me in the fellowship hall, and he introduced me, and forgive me, I think her name was Susie, to a lady, and she has just moved to Shelby County. She doesn't attend church. She has a 4-year-old son. In our conversation, she said she wanted to be paired with the church, and I asked where she lived, what denomination she would like. She wanted Christian, and she lives right by Shelby Christian. Well, we have a follow-up team, and I don't believe anybody was on the follow-up team. And that's their job, is pairing people. And so I said, and the coordinator of that was from Shelby Christian, and she had 2 people that was working with her that was from Shelby Christian. I said, I know right where you need to go. So I marched right back with her, and we took her, she hadn't even been to the clinic. But he was very adamant, we were going to pair you with the church, and that's what the whole clinic is about. All these stories you hear, it's about a relationship with Jesus. And we went in there, and I introduced her to the 3 Shelby Christian people. Tears just flew up in her eyes. She was nervous about going into a church. She knew nobody. How would she be received? Would she be welcomed? You know, would it be a comfort zone for her, or would it be someplace she wanted to get out of? Laura said, I will meet you. We had 2 services. What service would you like to go to? She told her that all the children, people that work in the children's area, had background checks. She comforted her fears from leaving her children with her. She told her, I will meet you at this door. I will be there waiting for you. You come, and I will be waiting. And she was supposed to call me this morning if she showed up. I'm still in prayer that she showed up, because Laura's got her number, and she'll be calling her. I know her.
It does work. For the second year in a row, I was signed with Brad, his evangelism team, and run off on him. Sorry. Shut that one off, though. All right, is that better? Like I said, second year in a row, I just signed with Brad, his evangelism team, and the second year in a row, I run off on him. I'm more or less tell everybody I was a signed gopher. I got to see a lot more this year than I did last year. Last year just kind of flew by the seat of my pants. This year they gave me radio, so I couldn't get away from it. And got to do some transportation this year. Mom could use my son. Thing I was really amazed about is how many people were at the demos. I went in there and it was stacked up, standing room only, at 2 separate demos. And everybody was thrilled to death that they was able to actually go sit in this, and then worry about pay for it, and all that. Everything was taken care of. Made several trips picking up photos. Had a lot of opportunities dealing with people that bring stuff in, donations. One store that stands out, a lady from Central, Central Baptist. Lady come in wheelchair. She's one of the ladies that was going to work the exit desk. She come in wheelchair, and out of wheelchair, and got on, I think it was Walker, and donated a wheelchair to use the clinic. And that really struck me. But she didn't put me in charge of making sure she got a wheelchair. That enough to make this happen. And we want to thank you all for allowing us to go and supporting us on this.
At the clinic, I followed my daddy's footsteps, and I went to go tell the 10 or 12 people about what Jesus did for us. And yeah, Madison's speechless. I saw my mom, and when I was helping her, I got to see a lot of her.
Well, we've heard a lot of good things. We've heard a lot of people touched. I had the easiest job in the whole clinic, to coordinate as far as the day of getting ready. I had a good core group of evangelism. A lot of them was pastors. Of course, my brother John here was with me. Very easy to coordinate. Hardest day of the clinic to spread the word of Jesus. But the good news is, out of all this that we've heard, one person was saved for sure that day. And her name was Lisa Warren. I got her name and everything, and we're going to get with the pastor of New Mount Zion. And we had some people that actually, I talked to somebody that was totally anti-Christ. And, sometimes you just got to slap them in the face. I got kind of rude against Christ. But, I got a little bit he was kind of on the side of, yeah, there is no reason, but at the end he said, I will research God and maybe start looking to see if that's the way that I want to start believing. So, sometimes you got to kind of slap them in the face a little bit with it and say this is really what it is. And but it is a hard job because you have a lot of people coming in. But the biggest thing that I showed them, and I told them, I talked to a lot of people, and I said one thing that you see today is love. Do you not see people loving you? Do you not see people caring for you? Yeah, I see that. And I said, God's love is greater than we can ever get. And I said, He's got His hand out waiting. And all you have to do is grab it. And we had a lot of success. There's a lot of seeds planted throughout each and everybody working and touching lives.
I enjoyed doing it. It's my first year, of course. Thing that I was able to do is I was able to talk to a lot of people, a lot of families. And I found the best place I could talk to was when they were eating in the cafeteria there. And I was able to talk to one family, and they're interested in coming to our church. And Mr. Whitaker's starting a van ministry here, and I've already introduced him to him, and I was excited about that. I was also excited I got to meet a lot of new ministers. Some of them I knew I got to talk to, they hadn't talked to in a while, and got